Kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 2091. Tonight we are talking about creating sacred spaces, home, heart, and habits. Last night we talked about, what did we talk about last night? That's a good question. Hang on, where are my notes from last night? Last night we talked about... rooted in values, what guides me day to day. So tonight we're talking about creating sacred spaces, home, heart, and habits. And tomorrow night we actually have a guest coming on, who's somebody that's been on before. So Peggy will be back tomorrow night. And then on Thursday night, we're going to be talking about showing up in relationships, legacy in real time. So we're kind of trying to get themes for the week going and stuff like that. It's part of this new transition into something new and something fabulous and amazing and everything else. So I actually printed out my notes tonight instead of having them on the computer screen. You really need to sort of like prop them up there. Actually, that's not bad. So tonight, like I said, we're talking about creating sacred space. Oh, damn it. I was just down in the bedroom too, and I forgot to get a really cool tool. Darn it. Oh, well, we'll just have to muddle through with it. So a sacred space is anything that makes you feel safe, grounded, or alive, or all of the above. It's not about Instagram aesthetics. It's about meaning. You don't need a cathedral. You just need intention. For example, my sacred space is a cup of tea. Oh, I forgot to bring my mug in here as well. See, I had all these ideas on props, and then I got caught up in a phone call with a friend that I haven't spoken to for ages, and totally forgot what I was prepping, what I was doing. So I apologize. My sacred space is a cup of tea and my favorite mug. I have this favorite mug that it's not straight-sided. It can't, the top's straight and then it curves down, so it's not just nice and it fits it, and it just cups your hands nicely. It's a great fit into the hands. It's just a comfortable cup mug that I got given. I actually got it given to me by my Royal Caribbean business development manager, and it did have a Royal Caribbean logo on it and everything else, and most of it's washed away. It's how many years I've had it. And then just sitting on the couch, just curling up on the couch and just sitting and being. That's my sacred zone. It's just a cup of tea, curled up on the couch for a few minutes, just to gather my thoughts. It's a great way to start the day when we get back from a walk with Zeffie. Usually when we get back with Zeffie from her walk, she gets her probiotics at that point, and then she'll go out and eat her breakfast. And I'm sort of like, I really don't feel like breakfast right now. So I make a cup of tea, and it's usually lemon, ginger, and manuka honey, made by, what's the brand? Puka, P-U-K-K-A. And I make a cup of tea in my blue mug, and I go and sit down on my couch and just sit there for a little bit. I'll put my feet up and just relax. And then Zeffie decides that she wants out. So this is our morning routine. Is that she wants outside, and I'm like, we just went for a walk, but she wants to go and lay on the back patio. And so I open up the door to let her out. Then I go back to my area or go off into the kitchen to start getting breakfast, and she just stands there in the doorway from the patio and just looks into the house and looks at me and stares at me until I get the message that she wants me on the patio with her. So we go and we sit out. I get into my club chair on the patio there with my feet up on the footstool, and she lays down by my footstool there. And we just be for about 5 to 10 minutes. And after that time, she gets up and goes inside. And I'm like, okay, now I can go inside and have breakfast. So we're going to go through, let's see, what are we going to go through? Your home speaks. What is your home saying? Is it chaotic, calm, stuff that doesn't reflect who you are anymore? For example, I'm currently decluttering 28 years worth of stuff that has traveled from Virginia to California to Arizona. 28 years of stuff, yes. Because I've never had the time or the space to go through it. Or when I did have time, I did have time when Brad passed, because my parents stayed with me for a month, and we got rid of a lot of stuff out of the garage. The garage was full of boxes, and I think we ended up we took it from 400 boxes down to about 90. So we went through a lot of them. There was a lot of stuff that was donated. There was a lot of stuff that was sold. There was a lot of stuff that was recycled, trashed, all that sort of stuff. Good stuff. Every time I walk into the house and I see the boxes stacked up, I feel the weight landing on my shoulders. Now I'm learning to let things go that no longer serve me. And as the empty boxes grow, the donate pile and the sell piles increase, the shredding pile gets as out of control. Trust me, the shredding pile is massive. And the trash cans keep getting filled. I get a sense of peace and calm come over me. My keep pile is still on the large side, and I do have to do another sort through them. Where are there corners in your house that comfort you? Do they remind you of someone? Do they make you feel whole? Now, when we were living in Solana Beach, which is where Brad passed away in the family room there, I was sort of like, I need to get out of this house. That whole year and a bit after he passed away, I was like, every time I walked into the room, I would look at that corner where his bed was and just wish that he was back there with me again. Did it give me? It depended on the day and on the mood as to whether or not it was a good feeling or a not so good feeling. Was I grieving, or was I grateful for the time that we got to spend together, or was I grieving because I miss him like crazy? 7.5 years later, I still miss him like crazy. So think of that, as you're going through a house, are there areas of the house that remind you of somebody, or a feeling that you get of comfort, of safety in that home? Sometimes our environment tells the stories before we do. Yes. So people can walk in. So some people might be able to walk into your house and they know the story. And you may not even know what the story is. An example of helping clear out the house and clear out the space and everything else. And this is something that I learned about ages ago, and I've actually thinking, and I suddenly thought of it today. I thought, why haven't I been doing that? So it's the KonMari method, which is popularized by Marie Kondo, and it incorporates a Japanese philosophy of appreciating and releasing belongings with gratitude. This involves discarding items that no longer spark joy and expressing thankfulness for their service before letting them go. And I'm sort of like, I could be doing that with stuff, because it might be easier to let go if I've turned around and said, thank you for your service. I no longer need you, but thank you for your service. Maybe you can service somebody else now. So I'm going to start doing that with my sorting through stuff. Might get me through a lot of stuff. Number 3, creating sacred space in the everyday. I've got so many. I use a product online called My Mind, and My Mind it's an extension that goes to a website, and on the website they create all of these different boards and things for you, these different cards and things. And when you're on a website, you can click the little extension button, and it will do a screen capture of that site and put the site address with the image, and put it onto a card for you within the thing. And you don't need to do any sorting or anything else unless there's something specific you want it sorted to, because it will automatically do all the sort. Oh, this is furniture. Well, let's put the furniture with the furniture, and it creates based on the image. It will create the search keys for you, but you can add other tags to it. It creates tags. That's right. And you can add other tags to it. Like, I've got this furniture that's absolutely crazy, but it's called patchwork, and it's totally awesome. I first saw a chaise. I thought, oh, that would look really good in a master bedroom somewhere. And it was actually on a New Zealand store, because I was looking through New Zealand furniture, thinking, what possibilities do we have for furniture when I move to New Zealand? I'm going to go. I love going through thrift stores and secondhand stores and seeing what I can find there for really good prices and stuff. And there's a couple of pieces of furniture that I'm sort of like, yeah. Yes, like I've got this end table, which is really cool. Looks like this really cool cabinet. It is a really cool cabinet. And I picked that up at a thrift store for like $30. It's really cool. And then I have this armchair, which is in our bedroom. And I've actually got it on Zeffie's side of the bed, pushed up against the bed. And it's got the rolled arms on it. So she can jump onto the seat and then step up using the armrest and then onto the bed. Because the bed's about this high above the armrest. So she uses it as steps. And she loves getting up that way now, instead of, will I make it to the top of the bed if I jump? Which I think is part of the steroids that she's on, that's preventing her from judging distances very well for jumping on things. But anyway, and this chair is very comfortable. We bought it from a, what was the name of that store? There was a store in Virginia that was all rented furniture. And if you wanted to, you could go in and buy it instead of renting it. And so we got this really cool chair, and it sat up in my office, and it was my favorite chair. I'd have like 3 bookcases along this wall. they were all 5-shelf bookcases, and then my chair would be on an angle in the corner in front of the bookcases, and I had my little ottoman, and I'm still deciding whether or not I'm going to take my ottoman to New Zealand with me. It does need to be recovered because the covering on it is been used so much that it's worn through. So I'm like thinking, do I take it? Do I not? Because I really like it. It's the perfect height for me, and I really like my ottoman. So I'm sort of like, I'm in two minds whether or not I'll take it. But it's a really cool piece. And it basically how that piece happens, I had all this foam rubber of all these square bits of foam rubber, and they weren't all exactly the same size squares. So I just stacked them up, and I had this material, and I thought one day, I thought, those two together. So I laid out the material, I put the stack of things into it, and I basically cut out a cross thing so I could fold it up and make a cube. And I literally sewed this thing on, sewed this up one side going, and I put a zipper on it so I could get the pieces in there after we'd finished. It turned out really well. It has served me very well for about 20 something years. I absolutely love that thing. The only thing is you don't sit on it because it sinks. It's not a very firm. It's great for putting your feet on, but it's not that good for sitting on. Made that quick. Yeah. So that area in my office, when I had that with the bookcases and stuff, and I put the chair there and I put the ottoman in front of it, that was my reading space. That was my safe space. That was my little nook. But creating sacred spaces in the everyday, it could be a reading nook, kitchen table, or the front porch, or the back porch. Create an environment that reflects your values: peace, creativity, hospitality, and solitude. What items smell, smells, sounds, or light that can make you feel at home. So maybe it's a particular type of lamp that you want there for reading. I like the craft lamps that have the LED. They're like tubes like about this long. They're awesome for reading. And you can actually adjust, do I want a warm light? It's like this one here. If I can, let's see, get this button. I can do like this, where I can change the light. Which one is it? It's the third one, that one. Based on what I'm doing. If I'm doing handcrafts, I want it brighter. If I'm not doing handcrafts, if I'm just sitting and reading, it might be a little lighter on the light, darker on the light, not as bright. And maybe I use oil diffusers in my rooms to set the mood. Some people like to use candles. After living in an RV for 5 years, for 2.5 years, 3 years that we lived in the RV, I do not do open flames in an RV, period. And I didn't even do open flames in the house either, because we had a dog and Gus could not end up knocking things over. So I use oil diffusers instead. So maybe it's doing that. And it could be like, for example, when we get home in the morning, I just talked about this. We sit on the back patio on the club chairs. My feet are up. Zeffie's usually laying on the rug by my feet, or she goes and she'll curl up on the seat next to me. Nothing is said. We just sit there and let nature envelop our senses. So we just sit there, and the club chair is enough that I can just sort of like scooch my butt forward a little bit, and then my head rests on the back of it. I can't tell you how many times I have fallen asleep in that chair. If I'm going to go and sit out there, I have to put a timer on, especially if I've got appointments coming up, or I've got work that needs to get done, or I need to start work. Because sitting in those club chairs out there, it's dangerous. I could fall asleep, but I don't mind. When I need to be creative, I find music inspires me. So it's either the 80s or country playlist is often what I use for inspiration. Other times it'll be classical or Christian music. And sometimes it's just complete silence. I don't want any outside noise, just whatever is normal on in the house, like the fans going over there. You can hear the house fan going, traffic going up and down the street. It just depends on what the mood is and what I need to spark that creativity, that inspiration. So those are how I create those. The other way that I do it is I also have, and these are I wish I grabbed it when look at that. I love you guys. There you go. There's small hearts. There we go. So the other thing that I have, which is really awesome, but because I'm a side sleeper, it doesn't work very well for me to go to sleep at night, but I've got a sleep mask that goes on. Now, this sleep mask is really cool because it doesn't press against the eyes. It actually presses against the outside of the eye socket, and you can actually open your eyes behind it and flicker up and down, and your eyelashes don't touch it or anything else. So it's got the shapes on the backside there where your eyes go. It also has the bridge for the nose, but it has 2 speakers, and it's like a headband. It goes around like a headband. It's got 2 speakers that kind of almost go over my ears. I think it's made for a slightly bigger head because the speakers on them are a little behind my ears. And then it's Bluetooth, and it's got little buttons across the forehead here. It's Bluetooth. Bluetooth connects with my phone, and it even has a USB, a little USB thingy in there that you can hook up to charge it. And for meditation, it is awesome, because with meditation, for me, half the time it's the trouble of keeping my eyes closed, so I'm not focusing on stuff in the room. But I put this headband thing on with the guided meditation going off in my ears, and because I can open my eyes there, it's all completely black. So all I can do is concentrate on the words. So I may not want to keep my eyes closed or open. It doesn't matter. I'm still hearing the words in my head. I can't see what's going on around me. I can't see what Zephy's doing, and I'm just sitting there in my chair with my feet up. Or I might lay on the bed. I don't know. It just depends on the mood. But usually sitting in my chair with my feet up and just relaxing back. And, of course, scooch a little forward. This is my little club chair up in the bedroom. Scooch forward on that. Rest my head on the back of the seat. And if I fall asleep, it doesn't matter. Because most of these meditations, they have a way of waking you up should you fall asleep. But I can sit there and I can listen to the meditation that way. And I've sight deprived myself. So I have to rely on my imagination, which is what they want you to do if you're doing guided visual meditations. It helps me concentrate better to do the guided visual meditations if I have this mask on, this meditation. I call it a meditation mask. I don't actually know what it is. And I was going to grab that and bring that down and show it to you guys, but I got sidetracked. So that's, creating that space in your house. Find that space that is just for you. There was one time I was going through therapy, and one of the things that I did is I moved my dressing table out from the wall, and I put a single mattress behind it, and I turned it into my little safe space. And the therapist had told me exactly how to set it up, what to do when I was in there, and everything else for while I was going through this therapy, and it helped a lot, and I actually loved it. And then when I realized I hadn't used it for a month, broke it all down, put the dresser back against the wall, and everything carried on as normal. It was fun. But that was my little safe space. Sometimes people just want safe space where they can do their morning routines. What is your safe space like? I saw on Facebook a friend had posted her safe space for every morning, and she had her favorite coffee bag. A bag of her favorite coffee was there. She had her Bible there. She had her journal. She had her favorite mug sitting, and that was all sitting on the table next to this chair, which has these plants around it, which is awesome. I kill house plants. I plan on doing better when I get to New Zealand. I plan on doing better. I want plants inside the house. I miss having plants inside the house, even though I kill them. I'm going to do much better at keeping them alive. That's my goal. And anyway, Mum will just be down the road to come and rescue them if need be. It always seemed whenever she came to visit and we had house plants, they needed rescuing, and so she would spend a day or two rescuing the plants and trimming them up and soaking them and whatever they needed to thrive again. So yes. So I'm going to have Mum and Dad nearby for helping me to learn how to garden with a veggie garden and fruit trees. I definitely want those, and keeping houseplants alive. So the green thumb missed me. So when you create that space, it's a place that you want to feel that you can relax in, that it feels safe, that it's sacred to you. It's a happy place for you to go and sit. Even if you're feeling down, it's a place that will re-energize you. And it could be that you might have a scented candle there that you use every time. There might be an oil diffuser there that you fire up each time with whatever oils that you need to help you with whatever mood you have. So look for those spaces in your house and create those little sacred spaces. Your heart is a space too. So what emotional atmosphere are you cultivating internally? That's a good question. Is there a corner in your heart where grace still lives? Yes, grace is very much a part of my life. What mental clutter or spiritual noise needs clearing? I will tell you this, as I declutter the house and start getting rid of stuff, there is space being made inside, mental space being made inside here. I'm starting to get more creative. I'm starting to notice different things. I am more aware of things that are going on around me. So what mental clutter or spiritual noise needs clearing? That helps with that. The oils help with that as well. My internal monologue used to sound like a to-do list. It did. Now I'm learning to leave a little space between my thoughts. Not only would it sound like a to-do list, but my internal monologue was this: an idea will get seated and it will get planted in my head, and I was coming at it from all different angles, trying to figure out how to make this work. Or if I did this, I could do that, and I would go flying. And that's when I would run out to the family room, sit down on the couch, and go to Brad, I've got an idea. Half the time it was just to get the clutter out of the head, and that helped. Journaling helps get rid of the clutter in the brain. Talking it out helps. If you wanted to, talk it into a voice recorder or the recorder on your phone. Anything to get the clutter out of your head, whether it's talking to somebody else or if it's talking to yourself and recording it or writing it, it will get the clutter. It's like, Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies, where he would put the wand to his head and pull out the thoughts or that memory and put it into the pensive bowl. That's basically what journaling and talking and stuff like that helps clear the clutter in there. And also when you're clearing physical clutter, it also helps to get rid of mental clutter because you are releasing stuff. So it makes things easier. Let's see. The habits that hold all together. Habits are the scaffolding of sacred space. Yes. A sacred habit might be lighting a candle before you journal, walking without headphones. I will tell you this. Where is she? Nope, she's laying on the tile on the other side of the curtain. When I first started walking Zephy, walking for me was the time that I would put headphones on and I could listen to audio books and all of that sort of stuff, cool stuff. Dance down the street if I wanted some music on or put a book on. When I did that with Zephy, I wasn't in the moment with her. And so she was all over the place. And I'm trying to control her. And look, we're walking on the side of the road. We're doing this. We're doing that. No. As soon as I took those headphones off and put them in my pocket and didn't use them again whenever we went walking, she now walks beautifully. She will walk beautifully outside or just ahead of me. She likes to lead us everywhere, which is really funny because when we're in the house, she'll lead me down the hallway and then she waits at the corner for me to go past so that she can follow. I don't know. But for me, taking a walk without headphones means that I am more present. I'm more aware. I'm more present with Zephy. We're in the moment. We're listening to nature as we're walking. We're seeing what's going on with nature. We see some amazing sunsets, sunrises, beautiful cloud formations. We're hearing the different birds chirping and twittering. In the evenings when we go walking, we hear the owls hooting. It's one owl, and you can usually see them in the tree. Oh, gave me a fright the other night. I'm looking at the tree up. We're getting close to where the owl is, where the tree that the owl is usually in. Now we're on the main path and we've got to turn down this path to go past the playground, and he's just the other side, or she. The owl is just the other side. So anyway, before we get to, just as we get to the turn, we get to do the left turn on this path, all of a sudden I see this shape just drop out of the tree, and then I see these wings come out and flap, and it was probably about 4 to 5 feet off the ground when it started flapping its wings, and then it flew up and across to a closer tree, which is a tree that we end up walking past on our way on our circuit. So we got to see the owl up in the tree. It was heart stopping seeing this shape just fall out of the air, and then at the last second it spreads its wings and starts flapping. It was incredible to see. I would probably not have seen that had I had headphones on, because I would have been tied up in the story and not really paying attention to what was going on, which I think was something that Zephy has helped me do, to be more present. Saying thank you with intention is another way that is another sacred habit to get into, saying thank you with intention. These small acts anchor us. So it doesn't take anything big or elaborate. It's just small things put together that can help you into that thing. Every morning my alarm goes off at 5:07 a.m. Most mornings I'm awake before it goes off. Some mornings I get woken by the alarm. But on Sundays, when it goes off at 5:07, you get a little lazy. We just stay in bed a little longer, and then around 6:30 or 7 o'clock, we'll finally go, oh, let's get up and get our day started. So Sundays is our lazy sleep-in day kind of thing. Even though the alarm's gone off at 5:07, we won't get up till like around 6:30 or 7 o'clock. And then we get ready and we go and start our day. So, that's our little sacred time. Zeffie's, no, most mornings now when I wake up, Zeffie's not on the bed because she's gotten off in the middle of the night and she can't get back on, even though she's got the chair there and we've got a little night light there for her. And it's almost like she's waiting for permission to get up on the bed. She will get up on the bed by herself, no problem at all, at different times. But it's like in the middle of the night, I actually have to invite her. And I says, come on, let's get up on the bed. And she'll suddenly just jump up and get up onto the bed, no problem at all. And in the morning, if I notice that she's sleeping on the floor, I go, what are you doing on the floor? Get up on the bed. And then she'll get up and get on the bed. So it's really weird. It's almost like in the middle of the night, she won't get up without permission, which is strange. Even when we go to bed at night, I go, go on, get up on the bed. And she'll go and get up on the bed. And she'll sit in the doorway while I get ready for bed and everything else. I go, what are you doing there? Get up on the bed. And she'll walk across and come around and jump up onto the bed on her chair and just lay down. And it's weird. But during the day, if I'm in the bathroom or getting changed or whatever, she'll get herself up on the bed and just lay there and wait. In fact, Sunday, this was really cool. Sunday morning, what had I gotten up to do? Oh no, well, I'd gone to the bed. I'd gone back into the bedroom to do something. I went to put my PJs on. So we'd been out for a walk, and I decided that Easter Sunday was going to be pajama day. And so after we finished our walk, I went to the bedroom, got changed into my PJs, and I came out of my walk-in closet, and I'm going to go through the bathroom, from the walk-in closet through the bathroom into the bedroom. And Zeffie's now laying up on the bed, and I thought, that's a good idea. So I picked up a spare pillow, put it at the foot of the bed, which is where her head was, and then just laid with my head where my feet usually are, my feet up on my pillow, and I had grabbed a blanket as well and thrown that over me, and we just snoozed for a couple of hours. It was Sunday, it was Easter Sunday, it was pajama day. It was a sacred, and we felt safe and sacred, felt safe. And in the moment to be able to do that was just awesome. So look for it. And it wasn't a big thing. It was just a little thing. We had nothing on the schedule that day. It was, after all, it was Easter Sunday. So we had nothing on the schedule. We weren't planning to go out or anything. We were having a pajama day. And Zeffie got up on the bed and started snoozing. And I figured, well, it works for me. So we did that. Anyway, so our questions for you tonight are, what's one space or habit in your life that feels sacred right now? And where is there room to create or reclaim a corner of comfort or clarity? So let us know in the comments below. Please remember to go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Helen Brahms, and leave your comments there, because if you leave them on Facebook, they'll be gone in 30 days. Yes, and we will be starting to transition across to dropping Facebook and doing just this on YouTube, and maybe LinkedIn as well. We've got to figure that one out. Anyway, but with that, we are out of here. Go out, find some clarity, find a little sacred space. Just make a little space for you, even if it's just sitting on the corner of the couch with your favorite cup and having that morning cup of coffee or that morning cup of tea, or throughout the day. You just need to center yourself again. What do you do to center yourself? Is it having a scented candle on? Is it diffusing oils? Is it having a certain cup of tea? Is it having a certain type of coffee? In the afternoons, I have this coffee cup that's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I make one of these, and right now I'm using Black Rifle chocolate. It's a mocha coffee. It's really good. And I basically drink it for the rest of the afternoon. It helps me get through the rest of the evening and stuff I got to do. So, what current habits are a core value that brings you a sense of ritual? What's a new habit that you could add that would feel nourishing, not just productive? So think about some of these things. What can you protect? What can you protect time for this week, just for you? Maybe it's taking yourself out to go and hide in the corner of the library. Maybe it's going and having your hair done. Maybe it's getting your nails done or something. Maybe it's having a spa treatment. Maybe it's just taking yourself to the coffee shop and losing yourself in the crowds. You ever done that? You just go lose yourself in the crowds. You're in plain sight. You grab your cup of coffee, you find that little corner of the coffee shop that you like, and you go and sit up there and journal, have a cup of coffee, just people watch, whatever it is. Make that sacred time for yourself, and let us know in the comments below what sort of sacred areas you have or sacred times that you have, things like that. And we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. We will have Peggy Beauregard will be back. And I'm not sure what we're talking about. We're either talking about her new mastermind group, or her new book that's about to come out, or something completely different that's to do with investing, real estate investing. So tune in at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening and catch our discussion with Peggy, talking about finances and how you can live your best life now with your finances. Until then, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening.